And I think it's wonderful to be here tonight, but I also think it's sad that there are other people who aren't here tonight. And those are the people who have passed away. Those are the obvious ones. But the other not-so-obvious ones are people like Paul McCartney, who couldn't be here tonight because he's in a lawsuit with Ringo and Yoko. That's what he sent a telegram to some high-priced attorney in this room, you know? Now that's a bummer, because we're talking about harmony, right, in the world.
Well, I've been nominated to say hi and thank you. And I did have this speech written here, you know. And, you know, in 1922, when I wrote it, I could see it. So we'll just rip that up. You can sit down. I'm going to be here for hours. I see you didn't get tables at the back. Well, I'd really like to just thank everyone, you know, here and everyone that's inducted us into this Hall of Fame. You know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame I love, you know, they always called us a pop group. But... Keep going, Georgie, it's your turn. I'm doing good. He always knows. Anyway, there were 4 of us in that band, and it just seems to be George and I, Yoko, Sean, and Julian here. It's growing, you know, every day. So give us the mascot helmet and let's get home. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And over to George and everybody else.
Thank you very much. I don't have to say much because I'm the quiet Beatle. It is unfortunate Paul's not here because he was the one who had the speech in his pocket.
And why didn't they play Octopus's Garden?
We'll talk about that later. Anyway, we all know why John can't be here, and I'm sure he would be, and it's hard really to stand here supposedly representing the Beatles. It's what's left, I'm afraid. But we all loved him so much, and we all loved Paul very much. I suppose basically the reason we became the band was all the other people who are in the Hall of Fame already, including Leadbelly, because actually they stole his tunes, turned it into skiffle, and we all became skifflers when we were 13. And all of them in there, and all the people inducted tonight too, they all had great influence on us, and it was for that reason alone we just wanted to get guitars, get in a band, because we didn't really have proper jobs at the time. Anyway, it sort of turned out fine, and it's got a bit bigger than any of us expected. And it's certainly wonderful to be here, and certainly a thrill. And thank you all very much, especially all the rock and rollers, the Little Richard there. If it wasn't, it's all his fault, really.
Yeah, but don't forget Muhammad Ali.
We won't forget Muhammad Ali. He picked us up in Miami Beach one day. Anyway, thank you all very much. And on behalf of John, I'm sure he's well covered here with Yoko, Sean, and Julian. And thank you all very much. God bless.
I wish John was here. He would have been here, you know. He would have come. He was that kind of person, full of music and love and sense of fun. And to me, this is a sort of a bitter moment, bittersweet moment, rather. But there's always a blessing in life. And now we have these two beautiful boys. I'd like to thank Ahmed, Jan, and the board of directors of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for bestowing this honor to my late husband, Joe Lennon. Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, you know, Paul is a hypocrite sometimes when, you know, because right before we had that Hall of Fame thing, we were, you know, we'd not been friends for a number of years, and we spent a long time really getting to know each other again, and it was so sad, really, that Paul should use an old business kind of thing and superimpose it on that situation of the Hall of Fame. And it's sad, really, that he's like that, but it is really sad because we spent a long time this last year and the early part of, well, just the end of the year, right before I came away from London. We had lots of dinners and meetings, and we were all really on a great course, which we still are on a business sense, of solving every problem we ever had finally after all these years. And it was just a shame that Paul should use like a sort of political sort of situation, because I think all he's done is miss a great night out, miss meeting Little Richard and all the old guys and Dylan, and also I think he put another nail in his own coffin as far as him as a person, because, you know, as Bob Dylan said at the Hall of Fame, love and peace is one thing, but we all have to have forgiveness too.
It's a privilege for me to be able to do this tonight and come here. So I've got some random memories in the form of a letter to John. Dear John, I remember when we first met in Woolton at the Village Fete. It was a beautiful summer day. And I walked in there and I saw you on the stage and you were singing "Come Go With Me" by the Del Vikings. But you didn't know the words, so you made them up. Come go with me to the penitentiary. It's not in the lyrics. remember writing our first songs together. We used to go to my house, my dad's house, and we used to smoke Thai food tea with this pipe that my dad kept in a drawer. Didn't do much for us, but got us on the road. We wanted to be famous. I remember the visits to your mum's house, Julia. It was a very handsome woman, very beautiful woman. She had long red hair and she played a ukulele. I'd never seen a woman who could do that. And I remember having to tell you the guitar chords, because he used to play the ukulele chords. And then on your 21st birthday, you got £100 off one of your rich relatives up in Edinburgh. Yeah. So we decided we'd go to Spain. So we hitchhiked out of Liverpool, and we got as far as Paris. We decided to stop there for a week, and eventually got our hair cut by a fellow called Jürgen, and that ended up being the Beatle haircut. Remember introducing you to my mate, George, my schoolmate, and him getting into the group by playing Raunchy on the top deck of the bus. You were impressed. And when we met Ringo, who'd been working the whole season at Butlins holiday camp, he was a seasoned professional. But the beard had to go, and it did. Later on, we got a gig at the Cavern Club in Liverpool, which was officially a blues club. And we didn't really know any blues numbers. We loved the blues. We didn't know any blues numbers. So we had to do announcements like, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great big Bill Brunsey number called Wake Up Little Susie. They kept passing up little notes. This is not the blues. This is not the blues. This is pop. We kept going. And then we ended up touring. And there's a bloke called Larry Pons who gave us our first tour. Thank you, Larry. And I remember we all changed our names for that tour. And I changed mine to Paul Ramon. George became Carl Harrison. And although people think John didn't really change his name, I seem to remember he was Long John Silver for the duration of that tour. Bang goes another myth. And we'd be on the van touring later, and we'd have the kind of night where the windscreen would break. We'd be on the motorway going back up to Liverpool. It was freezing. So we'd have to lie on top of each other in the back of the van, creating a Beatle sandwich. We got to know each other. These were the ways we got to know each other. We got to Hamburg and met the likes of Little Richard, Gene Vincent. Yeah. I remember Little Richard inviting us back to his hotel. He was looking at Ringo's ring. He said, I love that ring. He said, I've got a ring like that. I could give you a ring like that. So we all went back to the hotel with him, and we never got a ring. Yeah. We went back with Gene Vincent to his hotel once, and it was all going fine till he reached in his bedside drawer and he pulled out a gun. And we said, well, we got to go, Gene. We've got to go. And we got out quick. And then came the USA, New York City, where we met up with Phil Spector, the Ronettes, Supremes, our heroes, our heroines. And then later in LA, we met up with Elvis Presley. For one great evening, we saw the boy, we saw him on his home territory, and he was the first person I ever saw with a remote control on a TV. Boy, he was a hero, man. And then later, Ed Sullivan. By now, we wanted to be famous. Now we were getting really famous. I mean, imagine meeting Mitzi Gaynor in Miami. And later, after that, recording at Abbey Road. I still remember doing Love Me Do, because John officially had the vocal, Love Me Do. But because he played the harmonica, George Martin, in the middle of the session, suddenly said, "Will you sing the line, 'Love Me Do'?" Like the crucial line. I said, "Okay." And I can still hear it to this day. John goes, "Wah, wah," and I go, "Love me do." Nerves, man. I remember doing the vocal to Kansas City when I couldn't quite get it, because it's hard to do all that stuff, you know, screaming out the top of your head. And John came down from the control room. He said, he took me to one side. He said, "You can do it. You know, you just got to scream out, leave the top of your head. You know, you can do it." So thank you for that. I did it. I remember writing Day in the Life with him, and the little look we gave each other as we wrote the line, "I'd love to turn you on." We kind of knew what we were doing, you know. A sneaky little look. Ah, boy. And after that, there was this girl called Yoko Ono, who showed up at my house one day, and it was John Cage's birthday. And she said she wanted to get hold of a manuscript to give to John Cage of various composers, and she wanted one from me and John. So I said, "Well, it's okay with me, but you'll have to go and see John." And she did. After that, I set up a couple of machines. We used to have these Brunel recording machines that I set up, a couple of them. They stayed up all night, and they recorded Two Virgins on that. But you took the cover yourselves, nothing to do with me. And then after that, there were the phone calls to you. The joy for me of, after all our business shit that we'd gone through, of actually getting back together and communicating once again. And the joy, as you told me about how you were baking bread now, and how you were playing with your little baby, Sean. That was great for me, because it gave me something to hold on to. So now, years on, here we are. All these people, here we are assembled to thank you for everything that you mean to all of us. This letter comes with love from your friend Paul. John Lennon, you made it. Tonight, you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. God bless you.
I'd first like to thank Paul for being here tonight. I think John would have been very pleased. It's really grand, Paul. Thank you. And being inducted as a Beatle for John was to be expected. After all, the Liverpool band was bigger than Buddha. But being inducted for his solo effort would have made John very happy, because it had a very special place in his heart. So I'm very thankful. On behalf of John, I would like to thank all the people who voted for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, America. Thank you, Neil. I love Neil. Okay. Well, unlike those other guys, I haven't got a speech. So this should be fun. I'm making it up. Yeah, man. Well, here we are in the Waldorf Hotel in New York. And, you know, this is like brilliant for me. It's brilliant stroke sad, of course, because, you know, I would like my baby to share this with me. She wanted this. Yeah. But it's beautiful, you know, she's beautiful, it's all beautiful, and we're cool. So, I'll tell you what I want to do, actually. I want to get my date up here, my date for this evening. I want to call her up. Come on, baby, come and share this with me. It's my little baby Stella. Come on. Get up here. And she didn't know I was going to do this, so she's going to be highly embarrassed. But I don't care. A friend of ours had these baby booties on her baby, and it said, 50% mommy, 50% daddy. Well, here she is. All right, baby. She doesn't give a shit, right? These young people, you know, they've just got no fear. Okay, listen, so really what I just want to say, what we want to say is I love rock and roll because it made my life. By the way, while we're here, I mean, you got me, you got John in this. Okay, what about George and Ringo? Yeah! Come on, guys. Come on. I love rock and roll, I say. I love Cleveland because Cleveland gave me Linda's mom, who was from Cleveland. All right. Yeah. Cleveland. And I love New York because New York gave me Linda. So I want to say to you all, thank you very, very much. And this one's for you, baby.
The reality is that I'm, you know, this soul in a body, and the Beatles was this thing we did for a few years. And it was just such a big thing that, you know, it's amazing that people just keep going on about it. I try not to be recognized. There's a period where people didn't have a clue who I was because, you know, if you don't keep a high profile, they forget about you, and then there's all this other stuff, Michael Jackson's and all those people take over in the press. And I really enjoyed that. That's the only thing I'm a bit dubious about with this big Beatle launch again, because then people will be able to pick me out.
Here I go again. I could talk about George, you know, forever, but I won't. There was a quote by the Indian poet Tagore that George read to me one day. He said, "Blessed is he whose fame does not outshine his truth." And here we are in the Hall of Fame. But the inductees are not chosen because of their fame, but because they express their truth through their music. George said that he tried to write songs that would still mean something years from now. And I think it's safe to say that in spite of his immense fame, his truth will never be outshined or forgotten.
Surprised I wasn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and that he talked to somebody, and they're going to put me in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he's going to give me away like I'm the bride, and will I accept? So sure.
It's a great honor for me to be able to induce him. Oh, induct, yeah. Okay. Into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland tonight, Mr. Ringo Starr!
Some of them were true. You know, it's a great honor to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was doing the press and all saying, well, why did you wait so long? It had nothing to do with me. You have to be invited. But anyway, finally I'm invited and I love it.